Now we're going to talk about Agriculture Day. It comes around every year. We have Agriculture Week. Of course, all year round, we have agriculture production. It's been in the news a lot lately. Maybe we can get into that a little bit, maybe some thoughts. If you have any questions or comments, give us a call. With me, from representing Elkhart County, he's the chairman of AgDay in Elkhart County, Mike Yoder. He's a dairy farmer from Middlebury. From Marshall County, co-chairman for the Marshall County AgDay is Cindy Quivy. She's a dairy farm wife from Plymouth.
No,
No?
No, my father-in-law milks cows. My husband and I raise hogs.
Okay. You're a hog farm wife.
Hog farmer.
Hog farmer.
Yes.
Oh, you actually,
Yes.
You don't just sit around and watch him do it.
No.
No, okay. And also with us is Bernie Westhues, who is a grain farmer from Walkerton.
Right.
Is that right? And you're involved in the St. Joe County AgDay?
Just as a spokesperson.
As the spokesperson, okay, not the chairman. You probably do as much work as a chairman would do anyway.
Absolutely.
While the camera is on you, Bernie, let's talk about what's going on in St. Joe County, particularly for AgDay, and then we'll go around and talk to everybody about that, and then we'll get into some general conversation about agriculture.
Fine, Bill. Our AgDays are displayed up there with our live animals, and our contests, our demonstrations should be especially appealing to the young people of the area. We think that with the relaxed, fun-filled atmosphere that we will have up there, that it can be a learning experience for these children outside a structured classroom, so to speak, and it should be a lot of fun for them. We will have milking contests on Saturday at around 5 p.m. We will have a pedal tractor pull for the children, ages 5 to 7, 7 to 8, 9 to 10. We'll have an ice cream party on Saturday. We will have cheese-making demonstrations, hog cut-up demonstrations. We will have something for everybody. And you want me to go on, Bill, or you want me to give the others a chance?
No, that's all. We have plenty of time. Go ahead. You're on a roll now.
I'd like to say a little bit about...
Wait, now you're saying up there. Where is up there?
Scottsdale Mall, and I'm sorry if I...
No, it's okay.
Scottsdale Mall at South Bend, and this is really great to have these animals in this mall. The kids can get close to them, probably closer than they've ever been to an animal in their life. They'll get to compete, they'll see practical demonstrations, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful place to take them this weekend.
Okay. I'm especially thinking of how interesting it's going to be for the people who don't know the animals are there, who go into the mall to shop.
It would be quite a shock.
I'm in the wrong place. I took a left turn at a farm somewhere. How many animals will be at Scottsdale?
Well, we will have a milk cow, we will have 2 beef steers, we'll have lambs, we'll have 3 or 4 pigs, I think. There will be goats, rabbits.
They'll all be running loose, of course.
Of course, and right through the china shop.
The people at the Scottsdale Mall now are saying, "Oh my God, no, that's not what I thought it was going to be." No, they'll be all in pen, obviously. Kids can pet some of them. And
they get close to them, and some of them they can pet. Sure, absolutely.
That's neat.
I think that there's something there for everybody. The adults, I think, if you come to this or attend this AgDay, that you'll come away with a feeling that everything is not wrong with agriculture, that we have these young, dedicated men that feel good about what they are doing. They're proud to be a farmer. They love their work, and they're darn good at it. And the fields will be planted this spring, the cows milked, and the hogs fed, and your table will be just as full of food as it ever was.
Good.
This guy's taking my job here. So smooth. You are just like, I think, when I was a youngster, I pictured a farmer to be. Big and strong, ruddy complexion, strong face, and hands. You couldn't believe how big this man... Hold your hand up there. I don't know if you could tell on camera or not. I shook his hand, and my whole hand and wrist disappeared. It just in there. How long have you been a farmer?
All my life. These hands got this big milking cows when I was a kid. I had to milk about 15, 20 cows before I went to school in the morning, and hey, I got pretty fast at it, and my hands got pretty big.
I'll bet. That's it then, huh? Well, I tell you. Well, it's good. Good to have you here, Bernie. You
Thank
jump
you.
in anywhere you want, anytime we're talking
Thank you, Bill.
about anything. I'm not gonna tell him not to jump in. Marshall County, Cindy Quibby. Okay, what's happening in Marshall County? Cindy?
We are having an Ag Day breakfast, March 23rd, between 7 and 10 o'clock in the morning at the KFC Hall in Plymouth. And it's a 45-cent breakfast. We'll have 3 eggs.
45-cent breakfast?
45-cent breakfast. We'll have 3 eggs, 4-ounce sausage patty, toast, juice, coffee, and jelly for 45 cents.
Well, that'd be worth driving a ways for.
It would. That is the farmer's share in that breakfast. That's all the farmers combined. That's what the breakfast comes to.
You mean that when we go out and have breakfast in a restaurant somewhere, and we would have that meal, 45 cents of a $2 breakfast or whatever would be the farmer's share?
That's right. That's the orange producer. That's the hog producer. The wheat producer for the bread. That's the pork producer. The dairyman. All the farmers combined, it comes to 45 cents.
Just basing it on what average breakfast at a nice restaurant would be, that doesn't sound like very much, does it?
No, it doesn't.
And she's sitting here saying, I know it's not very much. That's my point, right?
Right.
Yeah. What else will be going on?
Basically, that's about it. We've got
That's pretty good.
the local Young Farmers chapters will be setting up displays at the 4-H breakfast, explaining agriculture. We'll have the local FFA and 4-H officers helping at the breakfast that morning, plus a lot of volunteers.
Okay, again, now where is this going to be?
That's at the KFC Hall, March 23rd, between 7 and 10 in the morning,
Okay.
and it's a 45-cent breakfast.
Now, where is the KFC Hall? You're talking about that one.
Behind the Bargain Center in Plymouth.
Okay.
I think Jefferson.
Well, that's
not
close
sure.
enough. You find you find Plymouth, then
Yeah.
you find the Bargain
Right.
Center, and you go right behind it.
Right.
And that'll be it. Okay. How long have you been involved in farming?
My husband and I have been farming for 7 years.
Always hog farming?
First started out, it was in dairy. He was helping his father on the dairy farm, and then we got involved in hogs, and we've been raising hogs since.
Yeah. Do you like it better, or just about the same, or what?
Without getting in a lot of hot water.
You won't get into hot water. We'll give you dispensation.
I enjoy hogs.
Yeah.
I really like them.
How many do you have?
We farrow probably somewhere around 100 sows a year. So it varies, depends on your litter size and stuff.
Does
So,
farrow mean more?
yes,
Oh,
true.
I don't. I have, get clarification on a lot of
Right.
this stuff. Okay, all right. Got to keep it simple for me.
Thank you.
Very simple. We'll get back to you in just a moment.
Okay.
Now, Mike Yoder, dairy farmer from Middlebury in Elkhart County. What's going on in Elkhart County and where?
We have a whole lot of activities going on in Elkhart County.
I'm not surprised, Mike.
I'm not. It started mostly this week. We have several tabloid sections in all of the local newspapers. They're all focused right at agriculture. They have a list of events that will be happening here in Elkhart at the Pierre Moran Mall. Set up currently, we have farm machinery, both new and some antique equipment sitting in there. We also have a really nice lawn and garden display. Also on Saturday, we'll have some live animals like Bernie does in Marshall County. Also on Saturday,
No, Bernie's in St. Joe.
St. Joe County.
Cindy's in Marshall. You're in Elkhart.
Anyway, any place west of here, you know. On Saturday, the activities really get into gear. About 10:30, we'll have exhibitors coming in representing most of the commodity organizations here in the county. We'll be giving away cheese and crackers, ham and crackers, popcorn. I also have heard rumor there'll be a drawing for 3 or 4 hams, also sponsored by the county pork producers. Also at 10:30, we'll start some demonstrations, which we did last year, and these will be covering everything from soil conservation, soil erosion, to horticulture, food demonstrations, food preparation demonstrations, and also Mary Ann Leanhart will be there, and I'm sure she'll have some activities, especially of interest to the homemakers. And of course, at 1 o'clock, we have our annual goat milking contest, which you participated in last year.
That was the strangest thing I have ever been involved in my entire life. Next to ostrich racing. That was the strangest. But goat milking was pretty darn close. See, actually, it was a little easier than cow milking.
Well, yes, there's only 2 teeth.
You only have 2 faucets, so you don't, but, I milked a cow the following, 2 weeks after that, milked a cow over at Scottsdale. And that was tough.
Did you use rubber gloves there also?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't use rubber gloves on the goat.
I believe you did.
Did I?
Yes.
Why would I
Something
do
about kid gloves, I think. you said.
No, I said I had a pair of gloves that were kid gloves, and he said, no, you better not use those. So I didn't. They weren't rubber.
Bill?
That's an idea, though.
Did the cow give the milk, or did you have to take it?
I had to take every drop away from her. We wouldn't give a thing. I had to take every drop. And
We gave him a dry goat last year.
I mean, I don't know from a dry goat, right? I'm a city boy. No, I did all right. I got something. I don't know whether it was milk or not, but I got something.
We were nice and we didn't weigh it last year. This year we have an actual contest, and with ribbons
count
to
me
go
out.
on. We have Mayor Bob Callender from Napanee will be a participant, and also Sheriff Dick Bowman.
Okay. I don't know about Dick, but I imagine Mayor Callender will do pretty good. He's a big fellow and he has big hands. Is that a help? I mean,
Well,
you developed your big hands.
The hands growed from the exercise. And
Yeah. But would a big hand help in actual milking?
No, a small udder.
So it depends on the...
On the size of what you're working with, yes.
I gather that. Mike, aren't you involved in state agriculture some way?
I was involved with the State Young Farmer Committee,
Is that right?
and that went on until I reached 30 years of age. Now I'm no longer a young farmer, I'm an old farmer. So my activities have ceased in the young farmer area.
Yeah, he got nudged over the hill, Bernie.
I wish I could get back to his age.
No, you're a young man. I think farming, possibly, at least physically, will keep you that way, won't it? Because, you don't have to worry about exercise, do you?
Bill, I'm older than I look, but farming keeps you young. You have no worries or...
Oh, no, now, wait a minute. Oh. What? Let's talk about that for just a moment, as far as you want to go with that. Now, you're a grain farmer. Cindy's involved in hogs, and you're a dairy farmer, 3 different areas. When we hear about the troubles in agriculture, are we talking about things that would affect you? It seems to me grain would be
Bill,
an area that would be a problem.
I think this morning we've got a positive thing that we're pushing in this AgDays over here, and there is a lot that is right with farming today.
Well, that's what I want to hear about.
And
Yeah.
well, I would rather keep this thing on the upbeat, get people out here and feel good about the farmers, what they are doing for them. And we don't want to use this as a crying towel at this time,
No,
because
but-
we've got something to
But
push.
what are the good aspects of farming? Now, we hear in the newspaper, which is always the bad news, because that's the news. See, when you don't usually read the good stuff,
Well,
that doesn't make the news.
I
But
think,
what about the good things?
One of the good things is that you people in the city do not have to worry about what you're going to put on the table. Never in the history of this country has anyone gone hungry because there wasn't enough food.
Mm-hmm.
And the American farmers produce this food, and they do it a lot of times without just compensation. Some of the good things about farming, I think, is the way that technology is advancing, the increased yield we're getting from different varieties, our goals, our gain in conservation in the last few years. I'm talking too much. You want to say something? People like farmers like to farm. They love to farm, or they wouldn't be farming.
Obviously, because it's not easy.
And they're proud of what they do. They know what they are contributing to the country. They, not only for themselves, not only for you in the form of food on the table, but to the segment whose economy, whose livelihood depends upon the farmer producing food. The processors, the machinery manufacturers, the truck drivers, the list goes on and on. I think 20% of the nation's people derive their livelihood from farm or farm-related businesses.
Mm.
Well, actually, Bernie, I think the figure is much higher than that. I think it's almost 80%, almost 8 out of every 10 jobs is somehow related to agriculture, and that includes food processing.
Got to figure even the grocery stores.
Right. Even, most of the steel industry, even, in fact, if you consider the amount of implements and equipment that farmers buy.
Mm. Yeah, you don't think about it extended that far. Mm.
But it is the largest industry in the United States today. No question about it.
I think another of the positive aspects, we've been hearing a lot of things in the news about the 30% of the farmers, or 25%, whatever figure you want to use. Those are the ones that are experiencing some extreme financial distress right now. That still leaves about 70% of the farmers which are going to make it, no matter almost what happens. There's probably 30% that'll make it no matter what Congress comes through with any kind of a farm plan. They'll make it. There's another 30% that are borderline that have to really watch their steps in the next couple of years, make some really sharp plans, and cut down on their costs. And then there's the other 30% we're probably going to lose, and that's what we've been hearing a lot about in the news today.
The ones that might...
That are not going to make it, and they're also the most vocal, which is the way it normally is, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. How are things in the hog business, as you say?
I imagine it's pretty good. We haven't sold any market hogs. That's those between 220 and 240 pounds. We haven't sold any for a little while, so I don't know what the market price is. Still having them around the farm, still getting quite a few of them, so.
Hogs don't know if there's a problem.
No, they like to eat, so we just keep feeding them.
Mike mentioned a little while ago about giving away hams or something like that, and your face lit up. She wasn't on camera at the time, but her face lit up, and that was kind of neat.
I just happen to love hogs. I'm from the city. I'm from Danville, Illinois, and I just love farming. I like the freedom that it gives you.
Were you involved in farming at all before you...
No,
you
none whatsoever.
You married your husband and then got into farming? Was that it?
My husband taught school for a year over at East Noble, and then we came back to the farm to help his father, who's a dairy farmer in Plymouth.
Okay. And you went from that into hog farming. You know,
Yeah.
I understand that hogs and pigs, I guess that whole category of animals, are very smart animals.
They are very intelligent,
They're just
sometimes too
stubborn.
smart.
They're stubborn, and that's why
Yeah.
you can't teach them anything.
No, they learn really quite fast.
But who was it I was talking about? I was talking about the dog trainer, I think. And he says, you always see dogs, you know, in an animal act, and things like that, or recently the orangutans and chimpanzees. He said, but you never see pigs. The pigs are the smartest animals around. I said, why don't you teach them? Get some pigs and teach pigs to do tricks. He says, they don't want to. They're smart. They can do it. They just say, nope, I don't want to have anything to do with show business or whatever it is. They have a severance streak. Do you find that true?
In some of the sows that I have, yes. But in good time, they come around to what we want them to do.
Okay. See if we have a question. Hello?
Yes, I'm at what time the pedal pulls are scheduled for Elkhart?
For Elkhart, pedal pull.
Here at Moran and at Scottsdale Mall.
Okay, in St. Joe. All right. Mike?
The pedal pull is scheduled for this this Sunday. Registration will be at 12:30, and the pull will start at 1 o'clock.
Okay, and how about St. Joe?
All right, the pedal pull for St. Joseph County, our registration will be at 12 noon, and the pull will start at 1 p.m. on Saturday.
Okay. That take care of it? I guess that took care of it then. All right. Now, I know you've been in farming for a while, and you for 7 years into hog farming. Somehow that doesn't sound right to say hog farming.
Pork producer.
Pork producing? Okay. We'll do it that way. And how about you, Mike? How long have you been involved?
Well, most of my life, in one aspect or another, I grew up on a dairy farm and worked as a herdsman on several dairy farms in Michigan and Indiana, and I started about 5 years ago here at home.
Yeah.
Which I am right in that 30% that might make it or might not make it. Those that started 5 years ago are really the ones that are having some difficulties right now, because we got into it when things were really going great.
And it looked good at the time.
And it looked good at the time. And we made some real good management decisions on expansion decisions based on good sound policies at that time. But then Uncle Sam made some changes on it. And interest rates went sky high. And it's a challenging time for young farmers
I was
right
going to
now.
ask you about with Young Farmers of America that you were involved in. You know, what do you tell young men who want to be in farming?
Right now, I can't really encourage anybody to start farming unless they have probably $70,000 worth of equity. And not many young farmers have that. As I look at my neighbors and friends, most of the young farmers I see starting now have either married into the farm or are taking over their father's farm or have substantial amount of help from their father. And it's extremely necessary that you have the education as far as the bookkeeping aspect of accounting, You have to have a real good knowledge of accounting and cost accounting especially to survive in agriculture today.
Well, that's being encouraged a lot more. I mean, even through college and through degrees for the management end of it, as opposed to just the actual production.
Well, and young farmers today have a much more emphasis on that cost accounting because we have to be better managers than what the farmers had to be 20 years ago, just because our margins are so tight now. And it basically has made us much more efficient. It's forced us to become more efficient.
Yeah. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Oh, is there anybody on the program that has any suggestions about revising the marketing system that's squeezing the farmer between high debt and cost and bankruptcy? I think the basis of my program and my suggestion is the American farmer is the only businessman in our country that has to go begging to the marketplace and say, what will you give me for what I've got? Everybody else has got a fixed price of cost, they've got an operating cost, and they've got a profit written in, and they go to the marketplace and say, this is my price, but not the farmer.
Are you shaking your head no, Mike?
Oh, well, I disagree with that totally. The farmers are not the only people that go begging at the marketplace. Basically, everyone has to sell their product at a competitive price, whether that's an automobile manufacturer or well, anybody. And their costs are not fixed. They have variable costs just like anyone else. Production costs are totally up to the abilities of the manager in each industry. As far as what we can do in agriculture to get higher prices, I think the administration is moving in that direction in respect to moving towards a more market-oriented agriculture. Now, the dangerous part of the problem is how do we get from where we are now to that free market approach without losing a whole lot of young farmers.
You want to add anything to that, Bernie?
Well, I've got ideas, of course, but I don't feel that that's the reason for us being here this morning is to discuss things of this nature. But I have ideas, and if the caller wants to call to me, I could certainly bend his ear for an hour or two on what I think should be done. But I don't believe that on this program that I would care to discuss it. This
I could see the ideas going around in your mind while he was asking that question. Is not the farmer, though, subjected to more leeway than other things, other businesses?
You mean more?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have to deal with items of expenditures that probably no other industry has to deal with, and that's the uncertainty of nature. These are things that managers, as farm managers, can try and plan for. But how do you plan for whether we're going to have a wet spring or a dry spring, or whether the corn borer is going to hit your corn or not? Those are the uncertainties that are inherent with agriculture, and anybody starting agriculture today, I think, is fully aware of that, or should be. And that's part of the risk. That's the reason it's a very, very high-risk industry.
As much as you like farming, I'll bet even if today you were starting, you'd still do it, wouldn't you?
I think so because it's all I knew. But I will say this, that any similarity between farming today and when I started is purely coincidental.
I'll
It
bet.
has really changed in the
I'll
last
bet. Well, there are a lot of businesses like that, but maybe farming has been affected more because of technology and pressures and things like that.
Oh, the size of the farms today and the amount of grain that these young lions will harvest in a year boggles the mind, you know.
Yeah. Well, the chemicals now I shouldn't say chemicals, but whatever you use to increase yield and so forth.
Chemicals is the correct
Is
term.
that right? Okay. Well, I didn't know if it was only that or not. I thought maybe some technology and just
Well, that too.
additional smarts might help as well.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. As a person from the city, I have a comment I'd like to say that I feel that going to these malls and everything, I think it's more of a show instead of getting the point across to the public. The farmers should be showing what their cost is and showing what they're up against instead of showing animals and new tractors. I think it's, and my kids say, hey, that's a nice show,
Well, that's what you have to do, though, to get people in, at least to find out a little bit about farming. How many people would show up if you were going to show a chart full of figures, right?
Right.
Wouldn't have too many.
At our mall display, we have prices on all of the equipment this year, so people will get an idea of what our input costs are just for operating or just for purchasing equipment. And throughout our tabloid sections in all of the newspapers, there's been some real good articles about that tie in directly to what the farmers' costs have been or are.
Yeah, which are
Mhm.
pretty
High.
incredible now.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's pretty rather basically high. Let's go over Ag Day again for each of the counties. Now, when is Elkhart County Ag Day?
It's currently we have displays at the Pierre Moran Mall, and the activities will take place this Saturday and Sunday from 10:30 in the morning on Saturday until about 3:30 with the
Okay.
milking contest at 1 o'clock.
Okay. Now, basically, you design it as a combination of fun and information.
That's what we like to
That's
do, yeah.
usually what those
Mhm.
displays are, yeah.
As Bernie said, we like to promote a relaxed atmosphere and provide things of interest to the average consumer. We like to show how agriculture affects everyone. In this respect, this year we're going to have a computer garden planning. In other words, people can bring in their information about how much food they want to eat out of their garden, how much they want to store.
Is that through the Extension Office?
No,
Or
this
Purdue?
will be a private
Oh, that's right. Okay.
firm, and we'll feed that information into the computer and print out a plan for you for gardening this year. How big of a garden and how many seeds and plants you should buy.
Okay. And just tell them how many people you want to feed, and
How much you want to store for the winter.
they'll tell you what you should do. Incredible. Incredible. And Cindy?
Marshall County is having their Ag Day breakfast at the KFC Hall, March 23rd, between 7 and 10 o'clock, for 45 cents.
And for 45 cents, you get what?
You get 3 eggs, sausage patty, orange juice, coffee, toast. And I would really like to say that the Plymouth Pilot is putting a tabloid in for us also that's explaining agriculture today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the KFC Hall again is where?
Is behind the Bargain Center in Plymouth.
In Plymouth.
In
Okay.
Plymouth.
Bernie?
Well-
I started with you, and I'll wind up with you.
Right. We will have a milking contest at 5 p.m. on Saturday. By the way, Bill, we'd love to have your Ann Ladenberger, is it?
Ann Ladenberger?
We'd love to have her take part. Is there any way I can get a hold of her?
Ann is not in right now, but we'll see what we can do. All right.
We'd sure love to have her there.
I'm sure she'd love to milk a cow in front of hundreds of
I'm
people.
sure I'd love to watch her milk a cow.
Well, I made a fool of myself last year.
We will have pork cut-up demonstrations on Saturday and Sunday. We'll have the kiddies pedal pull on Saturday. We will have an ice cream party in the community room Saturday afternoon at the mall, Scottsdale Mall there. We will have a 30-minute cheese-making demonstration put on by the Goat Club. I was going to say goat people, but that doesn't sound right, does it?
I can see these people with little horns standing around.
But come on out. It's fun, and I think you'll learn things without even realizing it.
Yeah, that's very true, Bernie. Good point. Okay, I thank you all very much, and I hope you all have big turnouts for each
Thank
of
you.
your respective Ag Days. And Agriculture Week in general should be one where everyone learns a little bit more about what's going on. Every time we sit down at the table, we should think about the farmer, I think.